Could Folarin Balogun be on his way to Inter Milan? Yes, people, welcome back to another Arsenal transfer news video. As always, if you absolutely love being kept up to date with daily Arsenal transfer news vids, you do not want to miss. Make sure you subscribe down below on my road to 4,000 subscribers and hit the bell notification button so you never miss a future video on this channel. It's a win-win for both of us. Let's get straight into the story brought today by Fabrizio Romano, the great Fabrizio, stating this: Inter will ask for final conditions of Folarin Balogun deal early next week. Balogun is open to permanent move, as we know, but Arsenal expected to request important fee. Balogun part of Inter list after Lukaku deal is off. Embalo, Enzola and Benjamin Sesko are not in the list. And here we go. The exit talks for Balogun are starting to ramp up. Arsenal made their additions. They brought in Timber, Rice and Kai Havertz. And now it seems it's time for Arsenal Football Club to sell. And Folarin Balogun could be one of the biggest assets Arsenal could sell on the chopping block this year. We know Arsenal want a lot of money for the player, at least 40 to 45 million. And we know Inter Milan are looking for a striker after the Lukaku deal fell through. The player looks like he's going to Juventus instead, potentially. Now, am I against Arsenal selling Folarin Balogun? No. I'd rather keep the player, but I understand the position we're in. Balogun wants to either play games for Arsenal consistently or go. He doesn't want to go out on loan again. And if I'm Arsenal in that sense, I'd let the player walk. Yes, many are saying keep Balogun over Nketiah, and I would agree. I'd rather have Balogun over Eddie Nketiah. But I have got no space for egos in this Arsenal team or in this Arsenal squad, man. If you've got an ego, you can walk. Balogun's only 21, 22 years old. He's walking like he's the big guy around. I know he scored a lot of goals in Ligue 1 last season, but that's Ligue 1. Lacazette basically finished top goal scorer, and we know what he was doing for Arsenal. So if Balogun wants to leave the football club, I'd let him go. But this is where you have to be smart in the business. You sell for quite a lot of money. I don't want to get ripped off again. For Serge Gnabry, we got ripped off. Even when we sold Bern Leno, when you sold him for 8 to 10 million, what is that? Like, I want at least 20 million for that kind of player. So following Balogun, I want 35 to 40 million at the very least for that man. At the very least. And then you also include sell-on clauses. You also include buyback clauses. Give yourself some insurance in the future to be able to bring the player back if he does much better than you would have assumed he would be doing. That's what I think Arsenal should be doing. Now, as I said, if Arsenal keep Balogun, I wouldn't be against that. But equally, I'm not against selling Balogun either. I understand that where we want to get to is we're in a position of win now. We're not in a project anymore. I know it was trust the process, but we're reaching the climax of this process. We're in trophy mode right now. And if that's the case, you need to bring in players that can help you win. Just like in the NBA and NFL, those who keep up with that, right? You have different processes teams in. Some teams are in rebuild mode, some teams are in championship mode. When you're rebuild mode, you sell your old players and you get draft assets, young players. When you're in championship mode, you sell your young players to bring in win now prospects. That is the mode Arsenal in right now. You sell your young players that have value, like Nketiah, like Balogun, etc. And you bring in ready, proven players right now that can help you win a title this season, not in 5 seasons' time. So that's why I don't mind Arsenal saying the likes of Balogun, the likes of Kieran Tierney, the likes of Eddie Nketiah potentially, the likes of Charlie Patino. Because if they have to go, they have to go. That's the way of the world. What you do is you bring in players right now that can help you. So if I look at it from that sense, Arsenal looking to sell players, that's the main thing. We're looking at players like Eddie Nketiah, Folarin Balogun, Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey, Cedric Suarez, Pepe, Tavares, Lokonga, Rob Holding. So many players that we could potentially sell. Now, if we are efficient in selling those players, because speed is very important, we could make at least 100 to 150 million pounds from those 9 or 8 players. I genuinely think we can. And Balogun is one that can make a large majority of that. He's probably one of the most lucrative assets we're going to sell this summer, alongside Partey and Tierney. Those 3 can go for a lot of money. They could make 100 million from those 3 alone. So if we're able to get a lot of money from Balogun and reinvest that into a defensive midfielder, like a Caicedo, say we sell Partey and Balogun and bring in Caicedo, for example, or Tchouaméni, that would be brilliant business that I'm pretty sure the majority of Arsenal fans would take. So my main thing from that aspect is, I don't want to sell Balogun, but if we are to sell Balogun, fine. Include insurance, whether that means sell-on clause, buyback clause, etc. I like that. 2, sell him for a lot of money. Don't just get rid of him for 20, 25 million. And thirdly, use that money wisely to reinvest into a player that can help us now and improve the starting 11 and squad. Because I want to have 18 to 20 top-tier footballers in that team. That's my personal thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section regarding Folarin Balogun. Do you want to see the player leave? Would you rather Arsenal sell Eddie Nketiah instead, for example? And if Balogun is to go, how much money do you want for the player? I'm going to be honest. I don't mind sending him to someone like Inter Milan. I'd rather do that than send him to Chelsea, for example. Inter Milan, abroad, let him do his thing out there. I wouldn't be against that one bit if we can get the right amount of money in the door. I'm also going to touch on Jakub Kiwior. That was mentioned by someone in my earlier videos wanting me to talk about Jakub Kiwior. I think he's done absolutely fantastic. It seems as though Arteta is moulding him into that left back position that can go into midfield as well. And I think he did really well against Nuremberg. Now, obviously that's one game and it's a small sample size, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the kid. Obviously he came in January, didn't have a lot of expectations. It was a signing basically out the blue. But I'll tell you one thing for an absolute fact. He's kept his head down, he's worked. He obviously wasn't in a team to start. He had a really, I can't lie, a tough start to life at Anfield. It was a baptism of fire going there, right? But I think in the games he's played, he's been pretty decent, especially given that he's playing left back, which is not his first choice position. He is a centre back primarily, but Arteta's teaching the ropes at left back, hopefully get him to slot into midfield. I could see him be like a Nathan Ake type player for us in that sense, where started as a centre back, wasn't getting minutes as a centre back, and has made that left back / centre back position his own. I can see Jakub Kiwior potentially doing that. I think he's a really good potential player for Arsenal to years to come and a really good squad player. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Jakub Kiwior, and more to come hopefully. I'm liking Arsenal's defence. Genuinely, I think our defence is our strongest basically positions in the team. I think it's really good. Saliba, top tier. Gabriel, top tier, man. Ben White, Timber, really good players as well. Then you got Jakub Kiwior, decent. Tomiyasu, if he can stay fit, a really good option. Zinchenko can slot into midfield. Obviously, he's suspect defensively, but going forward, I think he's a fantastic player. And then Kieran Tierney as well. Who knows what we do with him? We could potentially sell him, but if not, he's still a really good defender. So I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. Our defense is probably our strongest subset in our team, which is crazy to think because in years gone by, it'd be one of our worst. Remember we had Socrates, Koscielny, oh my God, Chambers, Holding, Mustafi. Oh my God, it would be terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. David Luiz to throw another one in there. So it's good to see Arsenal's defence be really rock solid now, because the old adage is true, right? Attack wins games, but defence wins championships. And that's probably true. If you have a rock solid defence, that's the foundation that you can build your team on. And if you trust the defence, the attackers can do their thing. And I'm just super delighted now, because I know in previous seasons, Arsenal have had Ozil and Sanchez, who have been two elite players, right? Two really good players. But the drop-off from Sanchez and Ozil was vast, let's be honest. The players underneath were nowhere near the same level. Now it seems Arsenal, for me, have got 4 elite players. When I say elite, I don't just mean world-class. I mean elites, can basically play for any team in the world. And for me, that is William Saliba, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and Bukayo Saka. Those, for me, are Arsenal's 4 elite players. There are others that are really good, like Martinelli, for example. Thomas Partey in his day is really good. Gabriel Magalhaes in his day is really good. Aaron Ramsdale equally. But for me, the 4 elite players are, as I mentioned, Saliba, Rice, Odegaard and Saka. Elite in the sense that they could play for any team in the world, in my opinion. And I like seeing that, because we're building an elite team of ballers. And you need that, because if we want to compete with Man City next season and win the Premier League and go far in the Champions League, alongside playing in the other competitions, the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, you need a squad. But more often than not, it's not just a squad. You need elite match winners in the team. And I believe Arsenal's starting to build that now. I can't wait for next season. As always, if you do not want to miss out on daily Arsenal transfer news videos, this is the place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below on my road to 4,000 subscribers. And importantly, because a lot of people forget this, hit the bell notification button so you never miss a future video on this channel. I've been Wifey, but I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Drop a like down below so it gets out to more people in the algorithm. And I hope to catch you all in my next one. Take care.